it's Pastor Dan from Dexter Gospel Church with another Proverbs Practical. Thanks for watching. We're in Proverbs chapter 21, verse 1 today. Our last video pointed out that healing often isn't comfortable, whether it's physical or moral. This next verse, Proverbs 21:1, talks about how God works in hearts to achieve his ends. Proverbs 21, verse 1 says, "The king's heart is in the hand of the Lord. As the rivers of water, he turneth it whithersoever he will." Now here's a verse that could really tilt a person toward a Calvinist point of view. The assumption is that if God can turn the hearts of kings wherever he wants them to go, then he can certainly do that with anyone else. And it's true that what God has the power to do to one person, he has the power to do to another. It's also true that God is sovereign, and much happens according to his will, and he works in people's hearts. One telling detail, perhaps, though, is that God deliberately chose to speak of kings, not the heart of men or the heart of mankind or the heart of people is in the hand of the Lord, but kings. And so this may simply be a warning to the king not to think himself above the hand of God, that though he has authority over many others, there is one who has authority over him. But this could also be that this is just telling us one of the ways that God works in the affairs of men and nations, that he moves nations according to his will, and he does it by influencing their leaders. But really, the question that always bugged me is this: does God turning hearts where he wants mean that those people don't have free will? Does this mean that they don't get to decide what they do? If God chooses our course, does that mean that we don't have a say in where we go? But as I studied this, the detail of the illustration struck me really for the first time. The thing that God compares this to is not a horse with a bridle or a ship with a rudder. It's the course of a river. It says the king's heart is in the hand of the Lord as the rivers of water. He turneth it whithersoever he will. So God operates in the heart like God operates with rivers. Now, how does God turn the rivers of water? Does he reach down and sculpt them through some supernatural process? Well, no. Now, every once in a while, as he did with the crossing of the Jordan or the Red Sea, he does reach down and work in some miraculous, supernatural way. But most of the time, the course of a river is set by the forces of nature. Now, occasionally, as when the Medes and the Persians captured Babylon, it's done by the work of men. A dam is built, a river course is diverted. But most of the time, it's gravity and geology and fluid dynamics that actually shape the course of the river. Does that mean that the river goes where it wants and doesn't end up where God wanted it to? Well, no. It works by the core forces of nature, but who designed and instituted the forces of nature? God did. So the river ends up where God knew it would and intended for it to, even as it goes where its own nature takes it. So it is with the hearts of men. They're in God's hand. But that doesn't mean they don't have free will or that God tears apart the natural processes that operate our decision-making. Rather, God works through those natural processes in our decisions, just as he works through gravity and fluid dynamics and geology and sometimes engineers and dam builders to determine the course of rivers. Now, every once in a while, he works more directly than at others, at least temporarily, as he did with the Jordan. He has the power to do that, certainly. But most of the time, in people's hearts, God works through the efforts of other humans, like with our dams and channels, or through the decisions the person themselves makes, just as a river carves its own course with the action of its own water on its environment. So does the man make decisions? Absolutely. Do they always end up in a place where God will be glorified and knew they would end? Yes. He works through our free will to operate his sovereignty. I hope this video is a help to you. If it is, give it a like, subscribe to our channel. We'd love to hear from you in the comments or see you in person here at Dexter Gospel Church. Until next time, I hope you stay well and keep your heart on the right course.